Hello people! Today we're doing a set I'm calling Goth Glamour. I've been wanting to do a goth set for a while, so here we are. Now this is not a Halloween set per se, but you could definitely use it at this time of the year. I'm going to be using extra long stilettos, and we're going to start off with some Modelones sheer black. There will be 2 coats of this going on. In hindsight, I'm almost thinking I should have done 3 coats, but we did 2. This is one of the ones that I've had in the works. I just had to wait till I got stuff I needed for it. And we're also, part of this video, we're going to be making some roses. Okay, there's the first coat done, second coat going on. Now, my roses, I've never done them before, and I've been really wanting to do these for several years and just never got around to it. So for my first try, I guess they're not that bad. They just came out bigger than what I needed them to be. So in the future, I'm going to have to scale down my size for those. And I've got some other things I'm going to try that hopefully will make it go more smoothly. So we'll see. We'll see when we get there. I mean, you'll see, and I'll go into more detail as we go along. Okay, we're about done there, and we're going to cure those. And there they are curing, and we're back. Okay, these stickers came from Allie. I've had them for a while now. I think I bought them over maybe in the springtime-ish. But I'm sure they're probably still there. There was a couple of different sheets. I think 2 or 3 different sheets I bought of these. Different ones. But I thought they would be perfect for this. Now, I did not wipe these nails down first and get any tacky layer off because they didn't really seem to have one. But I did run into a couple issues with some of these little tiny stickers that didn't want to stay down all the way. This one in particular, I had one side of it that didn't want to stay stuck down. So I'm guessing there must have been some kind of a tacky layer that I wasn't feeling just by feeling them. So once again, I will caution you guys, wipe your tacky layer off really well before you put stickers on. Decals doesn't matter. Those will stick onto the tacky layer perfectly fine. The stickers, sometimes you get them on the tacky layer and they start sliding around, or they don't want to stick down all the way. Some will, some won't. So just to be on the safe side, I just recommend you wipe them all down before you put stickers on. Now I ended up, or my original plan didn't call for these little tiny stickers to be on the top and the bottom. I just was trying to fill in some space. Originally I was going to do these on medium length stilettos, and then I changed my mind. Decided they would look better on the longer ones. And of course, it helps a lot that the accent colors of these are purple. As we all know, that's my favorite color. Now this one had kind of a shiny foil bit because it's supposed to look like a mirror. And when we get to the top coating part of this, we're going to be matting all these, so the mirror is not going to show. And I briefly thought of going over it with some clear top to make it shiny again, but that would have been pretty much the only shiny bit on there, so I decided not to do it. Okay. And that one I didn't put a thing at the top because it had enough stuff there, I felt. And FYI, this whole rest of the sticker section has been sped. This whole sticker section is sped up just to move it along a little quicker. We're just sticking stickers down. I'm sure you guys don't need any help about that. It's pretty self-explanatory. This is the pinky nail, so I'm going in with the smaller version of these little, I don't even know what you call them. They're kind of like the star flares, except for they're not. Now some of these stickers too are a little bit 3D, like you get the ones that have the jewels look to them, or like this one here in the center where the purple is, it's raised. So that's kind of cool. Different. Oh, I didn't even see that until just now. The leg on one of that stars is bent. I did not even notice that doing it when I did it. I should have fixed that. Oh well, moving on. It's too late now anyway. With black gel paint, and I'm using my striper brush. We are now going to outline around the edge of all of these nails. Now the first one I'm going to leave in real time, and the rest of them I'm going to speed up. I wanted to make the lines on this outline a little bit thicker than I normally do. In the end, I think they came out pretty much the same, but normally I just try to keep a super thin line around the edge, but I wanted these to be just a skosh thicker. And I'm just going to lay my brush down along the edge and then let the striper brush do the work for me. Just try to keep it even and smooth as you drag it down. See, I started off thicker towards the top, and then when I get towards the bottom, it kind of thins out a little, which is not what I totally intended to do, but that's what we got. Also, for some weird reason, and I've done this a bunch of times, I don't know why this time, I had an issue handling this where I was getting the black off the edges all over my gloves. So at some point I'm going to be, well, I think I edited that out. I'll be stopping. I had to stop and clean my gloves off because it was just getting everywhere. I don't know how I managed that, but I did. If there's a way to make a mess with something, trust me, I've probably done it. Now, as you're seeing me do these with gloves on, when we get to we get to a couple of steps from now, I will be taking them off because I didn't want to deal with the carving gel with gloves on because it likes to stick to the latex and it's hard to get it off of there. So I'd really like to work with that with my bare fingers, and for some reason I don't seem to get, okay, this is me touching it up now where I messed up the polish on the edge on some of it. I don't seem to have an allergic reaction when I'm handling the carving gel, so I don't know exactly what it is I'm allergic to in some of the gel products, but whatever's in there I'm okay with, apparently. So at least there's that. There's a wonky spot on there we're going to have to clean up. Now see how my sticker is sticking up down there in that pointy part? That was one of them that I had issues with. Now I will go back, and you guys aren't going to see it, but I go back before I top these. I will go back over all those stickers with my silicone tool and make sure they're all stuck down as they're supposed to be. But had I cleaned these nails off, most likely that wouldn't be happening. But I forgot. Seems to be a reoccurring theme for me lately. I'm blaming it on menopause. Alright, now we just got to clean up on this one where there's a little wonky place. Right there. And I'm just going to use a wipe with some alcohol and clean that up, hopefully without making it worse or taking too much off that I then have to go touch up again. I just wanted that little bit that was sticking into the middle. Okay, moving on. Now I've sped the rest of this up. So you're going to see me do all the same thing to the rest of the nails, every one of them. But just quicker now. Well, we actually had rain here the other day, which doesn't happen all that often around here anyway. As I've said before, I'm in SoCal and I'm right on the edge of where the desert's going to start. So we do tend to have drier, hotter weather here. It was really nice to have it rain. It rained pretty much all day. So my plants and me were very happy that everything got a good soaking out there. And I haven't had to water outside now for this whole week, which is good. So that was nice. So basically we went from like our couple of weeks of what I'm calling fall weather to now we're fully on winter time now. See, we don't get much fall. We pretty much go straight from summer to winter almost overnight. It's odd. But here we are. Next week I'll have to drag my sweats back out, put away my shorts. It's hard to believe that's sped up, isn't it? One good thing when you're doing these outlining around the edges like this is you can almost not go wrong. I mean, unless you really have a whoops and it goes across the middle part. I mean, you're just basically following right along the edge, so there's not a lot you can do wrong with that. And my glove's stuck under there. Okay, now this one doesn't have anything on it yet, but we're going to remedy that pretty soon. But we do need to give it the outline. Next week, I'm going to be having the last of the Halloween sets for this year. I'm not sure what I'm going to call it yet, but it's going to be a black and white kind of illusion-y looking thing on some of them. And then I'm going to be doing some 3D, kind of 3D sheet ghosts on the other ones. So I'll be doing two things I haven't done before. Could be a nightmare, could turn out really cute. We don't know. We'll see. And after that, I will be back on a couple of fall sets. And then it won't be too long before I got to start in on winter and Christmas. I swear to God, you guys, Christmas comes around faster every damn year. And I don't enjoy it anymore like I used to when I was younger. Now it's just a big chore. Alright, we're on to the pinky now. It's the last one. I guess because we have no little kids anymore at Christmas, so that takes a lot of the fun out of it. You know, since my kids are all grown, and on the rare occasion when I can get all of them together in one place, like last year I had all of them at Christmas at my parents' house, and that was really nice. I did enjoy that. And of course my mom the whole time, well, you guys better enjoy this. We're not going to be here by next Christmas. Here we are, and they're still there. She's been saying that for like at least the last 5 years, at least. So now we just kind of like, yeah, sure. Eventually it's going to happen, but not yet. I am happy that I'm still, unless barring anything happening in the next couple of months, which is a possibility, I suppose, but barring that, I'm still going to have both of my folks this Christmas, which I didn't think I was going to when Dad went on hospice, but since he seems to be making a good recovery here, I'm thinking this year is safe. Okay, we got that done. We're going to cure those now, and then we're going to move on to the phase. Now, these are the roses I would have used if mine had come out super crappy and it didn't work. You can get those pre-made on Ally. I'm assuming Temu probably has them. Any of those, I'm sure they're on Amazon as well. They're really cheap, and you can get them. Those are the ones I use for stuff I had been using, but now we're going to start off with making a handmade one. Okay, I've made a little blob out of the carving gel. Now, believe it or not, this is really dark purple. I know it looks black, but it isn't. In hindsight, I'm kind of wishing that I had lightened it a little bit by mixing some white in there, but I didn't. So here we are. Now, as you saw, I put the ball in on a toothpick. That is not the best plan. In the future, I'm going to try to do it differently because it left too big of a ball in the center. When I did the second one, which you're not going to see, I just made one of these petal bits and I just kind of rolled it up and used that as my center instead of the ball part. Now, I started off on this thing thinking it would be fairly easy to get these off of here, but they want to keep curling up. And also, I started to have issues with it sticking on my silicone tool. You know, I've stuck the toothpick down in a piece of styrofoam so I could have basically two hands to work to do this, which I really needed because that little ball did not want to stay firmly on my toothpick. It's moving around, as you can see. So I'm just going to make petals. We're going to make petals after petal. At some point, I think I sped this up, but maybe not. I'm not sure. This is when it started to stick to my silicone tool, so I'm cleaning things. I had to start dipping my tool into alcohol to keep it from sticking really bad. I went to use my mat to see if that was going to be any easier. It wasn't, so I'm going to go back to using that little plastic bag with the foil design on it after this one. Excuse me. But what we're just flattening these little balls out into kind of an ovally long skinny shape. Getting them up off of there, it was the problem. I was having issues getting them up. As you'll see, they want to roll up. So you have to, once I get it off of there, I kind of have to unroll it a little. And then I'm going to go on the opposite side and stick these petals on, or this petal. And then just adding continuous petals until I get the size I want. We're just going to go on the opposite sides where we put the new petal on. We're covering over like two of the seams of the other petals and then going around the side. And I'm moving back to this now. Now, in hindsight, my roses came out, like I said, way too big. And they're bulky on the bottom, so they didn't want to lay nicely on the nail. So what I should have been doing, I think, is building these directly onto a nail. And I think if I had covered the nail with cling wrap or saran wrap, built them directly onto the nail, I could have had them flattened down the bottom to a good shape, a good like flat and bendy on the bottom so it will fit the shape of the nail. And then I could have cured them that way and then peeled the plastic off the back and the nail, and they would have been, they would have had a back that would have been geared to fit the nail shape. You see how it's like moving around on the toothpick? It's turning around and stuff. So I had a hard time keeping a grip on it, but you can't squeeze it really too much because it's soft and it's basically like clay. So you have to be kind of careful. And I didn't like the way that ball was just in the middle, so I was trying to poke it. And then my toothpick poked all the way through. So as you can see, it's just like flimsily hanging on to there. I was also leery too of not having it cure to the toothpick, because I've tried using polymer clay with making beads and using the toothpick and then dipping them in resin to coat them so they're shiny, but then they don't want to come off the bead. So I was very leery of that, because this stuff is almost like, it's pretty much like working with the polymer clay. I think it's pretty close to the same stuff almost. Which I really thought about making roses out of. If I get good at this rose making and I can make them nice and small enough, I may make a bunch of them up and see if anybody wants to buy pre-made roses like that for nail stuff. I've also got some really super thin little white snowflakes that I made for a resin project that I didn't use all of them. And I needed to make more of the snowflakes to use up the resin that I had already mixed up. So I made a bunch of extra ones. If anybody is interested, they're super thin, so they'd be good and easy for encapsulating or just gluing on the top of a nail. But if anybody's interested, hit me up. I will send you pictures of them. I was thinking about trying to sell those too. But I think if I'm going to do that, I need to start way more ahead of time and make the little stuff, because now it's getting too close. I mean, the snowflakes are still going to be good for this time of the year, but I mean, I guess, and roses if I can start making them. Of course, those are good anytime. But believe it or not, I'm pretty sure I sped the rest of this process up. Darn it. Of course, now you can't see. I'm trying to get it off of there is what I'm doing. Okay, I'm back. Had to take a pause there and go get some more water and get my inhaler. So hopefully there will be no more coughing now. Okay, well that one ripped a little bit, but I'm like, you know what? Some roses have something like that. I'm just going to leave it. Now it's kind of hard to see because it's so dark. And I'm just trying to kind of fluff the petals out because they all wanted to go, as I'm sticking them on, they're going inwards. So I'm just fluffing them out a little. And then I think that's going to be it for this one. I didn't show you doing the second rose because it was mostly out of shot the whole time. So it's going to be kind of pointless for you guys to watch it. But anyway, that's how we do it. And then I just took both of these and put these in the lamp to cure. I gave them a 3-minute cure. I put them in my resin lamp instead of the nail lamp because it was too tall, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So, and I did brush them down on the outside with some alcohol. Okay, now, next, we're going to top these now. I'm going to go over them firstly with a layer of my temper top coat to seal those stickers in really well. I probably could have, since nobody's going to wear these, I could have probably skipped this step, but I like to do things thoroughly when I do them. No half-assing it here. At least not when I'm doing nails. Okay, and this one that is blank right now, but we're going to remedy that as soon as we get done top coating. Okay, and those will be ready to go in the lamp. In they go. And now we're going to go over them again with matte top. Now, like I was saying earlier, I thought about going over some of these where the purple parts were with shiny again, but decided not to. Especially on that one that looks like a mirror that's on the next nail. You see the white part around the stickers on my nails? I forgot that that was glow-in-the-dark stuff. One night when I went to bed, I was just kind of laying there, and for whatever reason, I opened my eyes, and my hands were kind of near my head, and I saw them glowing, and for half a second, I'm like, what the hell? I had forgotten they did that. Okay, moving on. I'm going to use this cross charm. Now, I got a whole bag of miscellaneous mixed charms from Allie, which I got for my resin stuff, but I have used some of them on nail projects. But I've just cut the top of the loopy bit off the top of here, you know, where the thing was, where you would put a chain through or jump ring or something if you're going to make some kind of other jewelry out of it. But I have taken that off, and we're going to use that. I'm glued up underneath. I've put the glue on the back of the cross. That way I can hopefully just get the glue where the cross is and not all over the rest of the place on there. And once I get it lined up where I want it, I'm going to flash it with my little LED flashlight so it doesn't slide around on the move from here over to the nail lamp. Because these heavy metal charm things tend to slide and move around. Like you can see, it's kind of going off to the side a little bit. I mean, I know it looks like it's crooked because the nail is not totally on the nail stand straight either. But trust me, it's not crooked. Okay, and as I said, I'm just going to flash this around the edges so it doesn't move when I get it over. And then I'm going to pop it in the lamp and give it a full 90-second cure. And now it is back out. And I'm going to glue up the top of this now. And this is where the roses are going to go. And you're going to see me struggle with these and have a whole crap load of trouble because A, they're not flat on the bottom very well, and B, they're very big and bulky. They're way bigger than they really need to be for this. I mean, it looks okay there now, but trust me, it's going to start to slide off. And when I get the other one was even worse. That one kind of had a flattish edge to it. This other one was a lot worse. They did not want to stay on. This is what I'm saying. Had I planned this out better. So what I got my 150 grit file that I never use for anything that's nail related. Usually I use it on other stuff, but I'm just going to file the bottom of this off so I can get a flat area for it to stick. And we'll lay on the nail better, hopefully. And it helps somewhat, but also these two, and there it goes again. See, they're just going to keep sliding off because they're heavy. They're big, bulky. I mean, they're not heavy. They're heavy for what they are, but they're not heavy. See, and there they are. So my plan for making that better was to add even more glue to it. And we're going to try it again. And now they're stuck together. And that is the one that was on the other side. And see, now I'm going to move it back because that other one was laying fairly nice on that other side. But you can see what I'm saying, that they're just too big. They're too tall and they're too bulky. I'm going to have to scale them way down. I think if I make my petals like half the width that I made the other ones, that would have been better. Okay, and then I'm going to put them in the lamp, give them a full cure. Okay, now we're on there. Now we're cooking with gas. Okay, and I started to glue up around here with my regular gem glue, and then quickly decided that was not cutting it for where I needed to get stuff. So I'm going to switch over to this Twing gem glue. Excuse my hand, because it has this little skinny metal tip and it's really easy to get underneath. Like, I wanted to get some more underneath the top of here just to fill in that gap, so if somebody were to wear this, it wouldn't get caught on things as easily. And then I'm going to glue this all up where I want caviar beads to go and stuff, because that's what's happening next. This way I could get all around and all inside of those little crevices. I was going to just do caviar beads, but then I decided I'm going to throw some Smokey Black crystals in there because I had some kind of big gaps and big areas that I needed to fill, and I didn't want it to be totally just caviar beads. So we're going to throw in about, I don't know, maybe a half a dozen crystals here and there. Also, I'm wishing that I had lightened that purple because it's of that carving gel, because it's awfully dark. But the roses themselves, if I could have got them to be, hold still on something firmly instead of moving all around while I'm trying to put petals onto them. They were not that hard to make, actually. They were fairly easy. Now, they would have been 10 times easier if I didn't have nails on, I think, but I will figure it out, and I will get used to it, and the next ones I do are hopefully going to be better. Okay, and now I'm going to add some more glue to some places here. You definitely would have to be used to wearing embellishments for this on here because it's extra big and bulky and definitely will get caught on things. So if you're not used to dealing with that, could be a nightmare to wear. Alright, now I'm going to make a caviar bead mix. I'm going to start off with these purple guys. And then we're going to add some black ones. And then I'm going to add in some of these steel caviar beads. These are the metal ones. Those other ones are, I'm assuming, maybe resin of some sort. Okay, mix them, give them a mix. And then I started off trying to put these on with a little brush. Well, first we're going to get some more glue on here. I wanted it coming down the side edge just a little bit. And then I want to make sure we got glue everywhere. We're supposed to have wet glue still. Now I started off with a little brush and I was going to put them on. That wasn't working for me. So what we ended up doing was getting a second tray out and just pouring these on where I have glued them. That way they're going to get on here in little clusters, which is okay. I just want to make sure they get everywhere they're supposed to be. And then there are some gaps there that I'm going to want to refill in with some more. So we're going to move these around, and we're going to need just a little skosh more glue. And when I'm done, whatever's left over of these caviar bead mixture, I will put in a tiny little container, and I will save those to use another day. Alright. A little bit more going on. Most of them ended up in the containers. As you can see, some of them were on my desktop. Alright, are we happy with that? Well, now that we can't see it, I don't know. Let me see. Nope, now I'm going to play around with them. There was a little gap in there that I was trying to get to fill in better. And we're going to add a little tiny dot more of glue in there. Beads all over the end of my glue tube now. Alright. And I think we're good now. When I'm done playing around with this, I will give it a 2-minute cure. And in it goes. And that's it. We're all done. Nothing left to do but clean the mess up. Okay, I think they turned out kind of cool. My roses are a little bit sketchy. If they were smaller, I'd like them better. But please give me a like if you like them. And I will see you guys next time with the last Halloween set of the year. And that will be next Saturday. That's it for now, guys. Stay safe and warm. And bye-bye.